Thank you, Stefan, for the introduction and all the Node Institute for organizing this event. We are very happy to be hosting you here in our spaceship. And so tonight I will speak about the collective first and its place, and then a little bit more about my work. So yeah, it's quite emblematic for us to have you here this year because it's our last year in this space. Gentrification is hitting us, so we are looking for a new place with our 12 containers and all our crew. So if you know about something, please let us know. Yeah, so here we've had to be very productive as there's no running water or electricity. You can hear the generator behind. So we've been relying on a solar panel, on bringing water ourselves, and all this has made the construction process a bit more challenging. But yeah, it was nonetheless really important for us to create a platform for people to connect and create while keeping a DIY vision. So yeah, when we first got here, there was one container and it was quite empty, and our friends were organizing music events, and we felt that we wanted to decorate a bit more the place and bringing more visuals. So that's what brought me to learning TouchDesigner. As when we started by going around the city in Berlin, cycling and collecting trash and material, and we found lots of TVs and cables and media players, DVD players, and we started to connect them and realized that some of this trash was still functional, and we didn't even have to repair it. So so early on in our art process, we wanted to create TV installations, and quickly our way of working was going against the philosophy of capitalism, where now it's easier to when something is dysfunctional, to just throw it away and get a new one instead of reusing it. So we were quite lucky, as in Berlin people throw away amazing stuff. So that was quite good for us. And yeah, so very early on we got we grew a strong interest in the physicality of things and in hardware. We got very curious on how machines were working. We looked at them differently, opening them up. We really wanted to understand what they were made of, what they sound like, what their components, and they slowly turned into things, and we really valued each components we could find. And yeah, and with this we realized that all the objects were not really independent, but they were connected to each other, and we could change pieces and yeah, and reconnect them. And that saying, we realized that the machines and the instrument we were looking at were not just not independent, but also part of a bigger economic model. And by repairing, we were going against this system. So yeah, repairing is challenging. Was challenging this. So just like making a parallel with TouchDesigner, just like when we connect nodes together, here we were just connecting material and and things together. And just like when we reuse someone's concept and tweak it and making it available for the people, here we were also reusing material and as well losing a sense of belonging and ownership, but we would just feel like we connect stuff, and that's what we do. So to do this, of course, we had to learn a few skills we didn't have. Electricity or coding, well, basics, soldering and construction. And for this we had to ask advice to the people around us, and that's how the desire to connect to machines make us connect to people, and that has been a great experience. And so connecting to people and reclaiming the objects around us was also strongly based on believing in sharing knowledge and using open source material we could find. So we watched a lot of tutorials, we asked a lot of help around us and really valued people's experience to help us build what we wanted to do. And this was really an empowering experience, individually but also collectively. As I feel now, it's quite easy to delegate knowledge to strong, intelligent, powerful software, and this challenges our curiosity, and we want to keep on being curious. We want to keep on playing with things, and we want to keep on being physical with material and maintaining a relation to what's around us, the material and the people. So keeping this desire to play and to connect with people, we really value the joy of making things instead of quickly reaching efficiently an outcome. We believe that we want to stay active and not just passive consumers of art or whatever you can buy. And that's also in this philosophy that we created our machines, and that we bring them into our events, because we want people to be active and to take part and get involved, of course, if they want. And so to connect to create interactive machines, we also had to learn some coding techniques and TouchDesigner, also as well Arduino, and one of our first machine, which is there, the arcade, was made. So it's rolling on an electric wheelchair, and then it's an old shoe polisher, and the faders are taken from an old organ, and that was our first machine. And so the way we build them, I mean, in order to create all the visual combination, I first started with the controller. So in this case, the fader from an old organ, and then and then looking at the controller, then I would start to create a visual or audiovisual world. So in other machine, like here you can see the wave generator, we used an old amp with an Arduino inside, and then I would attribute each potentiometer, fader or whatever to a component of the visuals, a parameter, like the color or the shape or the noise or the amplitude or whatever. So each of the machine we made were relying on a visual world specifically for this machines. On some others we've used gyroscopes or Kinects, but keeping it's an old, this one goes with the gyroscope, keeping a look of recycling, of course. So after all these machines, we kind of wanted more, and we wanted to connect with them even more. So that's where we started building our spaceship, where we are sitting now. And so this is at Fusion last year. And so we wanted to act with our machines and be with them. So that's where we started to create some shows and characters with DIY costumes as well, made of tents. And that was just a perfect place for us to showcase our machines and also to connect with amazing performers, musicians, light designer, and so on. So we've been able to, the spaceship took us to Fusion and Attention Festival and more, and now we're working on optimizing it even more to take the spaceship further.
Suspense.
Suspense. This year, no, we're not at Fusion, unfortunately. So yeah, this is the beginning of the show last year at Fusion, and yeah, it's kind of in this environment that my practice of TouchDesigner has evolved. Instead of focusing on making machines and visual environment specific for the machines, I kind of wanted to work more with live. So I've been working together with musicians, and also I've been wanting to integrate my dance practice into shows. So I will get the show now. But so yeah, for example, this is one of our visual world, I would say, that I have created with a friend who's a florist, and I've always wanted to link abstract visuals with real footage. So in this sequence, when we worked together, I focused on using footage that I filmed from lots of plants in India, and yeah, and this is a little preview of our show, but I will show you a bit more in depth an example of my work. So yeah, initially I wanted to, because I'm also dancing, I wanted to show dance project that I've been working on, but my Kinect stopped working today, so I will show something else. But I still wanted to explain that at the moment I'm interested in exploring identities and how the body, so using TouchDesigner, Kinects or cameras, how the body can really, the contemporary body is not only physical, but is really becoming or transitioning from identities and going from virtual to physical, from self-constructed to something more authentic. And yeah, I've been exploring this with projection mapping, like here, for example, and it's very interesting to see how a projection and is creating a real framework where we can realize how digital technologies can reimagine realities, and in this sense the body inside here can show this transition of identities from presence to representation. So yeah, that's my work on the moment, which I cannot really show, but that's what I'm on about. And yeah, so as I'm working live with some with Max, also part of the collective, together we have a duo, and look, voilà, together we have a duo, and so now he's not playing live, but I usually use music as an input. As he's using a digitact, I can play with whatever he sends me, really, and then yeah, this is a little mess here I created. But so I would say start with the sounds, which then trigger some kind of abstract components. So in this case, I'm only running this this world, I would say, which you can see in the background, and then I can play with the camera manually, or I can make the camera audio reactive. But now, yeah, now I'm not connecting to Max, it's not really working. But you get the idea. So each time there's a beat, for example, the camera would change position. And when I want to go from a visual to another, for example, that one, I can just change the background and always have something different on top. So here I'm using a scan. It's actually a real scan. We have this little mini scanner that we can transport everywhere and scan the city. And same, I can decide that I want to change the scans manually, or in this case, audio reactively. And yeah, so first in this project, we played last month in Spain and Italy. I usually have the abstract visuals in the background, and then in the foreground the real footage, and here the scanners, which I can then change the mask. Wait, is the music looping or not? Yeah. And I can then change the mask and then add on all the collection of effects of the favorite ones I have in on my menu. So, for example, adding more audio reactiveness of real footage. I mean, still image. And and once again, just like I map all the machines we made, I've mapped all my controllers and can just decide of anything anything I want. For example, I could just displace this this one there. I can I can add some more reactiveness of here at the back. So this is usually the little square you see on the left. They usually react to a program change in the Digitact and are really on the beat. So now it looks okay with the audio input, but I'm not sure how well synced it is. And and then on top of that, I can have all kind of blah blah I want to say, and because I like to play with words as well. And in the end, all the color correction work. But going for example in the footage comp, we can see very well organized. We can see, so on the left so here changing on the mid, it's changing the footage of the scans automatically, audio reactively, which I can stop if I don't want. And then changing the mask, changing the I'll show it here. Changing the mask, changing the displacement. I can just play with all kind of stuff. And then I also have the bigger displacement that will then distort the whole composition, and it starts to get a little crazy already. So yeah, I mean, that's it. That's it. Thank you.